it is the intrinsic property of this particular material, so it will be having some kind of residual resistivity. Now what is the origin of this residual resistivity? What is the origin of this residual resistivity? So residual resistivity is originated because of impurities, because of impurities present in the material, because of the impurities present in the material. Now we know that any kind of material, whenever we synthesize any kind of material, or if the material is synthesized by the natural phenomena, then also it will always have some kind of impurities. There will be some kind of defects, okay, line defect, point defect, screw dislocation, edge dislocation, etc., etc. So even if the lattice is not producing any kind of phonon because of the temperature, then also it will be having some kind of impurity, okay, and because of this impurity there will be localized stress or strain within that particular material, and because of this stress and strain there will be some kind of phonons generated by these impurities, okay, and these phonons will also try to collide with the electron, and it will offer some kind of resistance, okay. So any resistivity in general is a function of residual resistivity, and it will be the function of temperature. So even if we make the temperature 0, ideally even if we make the temperature 0, which is not possible at all, then also it will have some residual resistivity, and resistance of a material cannot be made 0, okay. So this is the situation with the metal or with any kind of material, okay. So what we have learned up till now, that whenever we apply some electric field to the material, there will be the flow of current, and if the material offers very less amount of resistance, the flow of current will take place very easily, or what we can say, such a materials are called as a good conductors of electricity, okay. And what is the origin of resistance? So because the lattice ions are continuously in vibrational state or rotational state, they will exchange energies within these vibrational and rotational energy levels, and exchange of this energy will be in the quantized form, and this quantum of energy is called as a phonon. So there will always be the emission and absorption of phonon within the lattice or within the material, and these phonons will collide with the electrons, and it will scatter the motion of the electron, okay. And because of this scattering process, it will offer some kind of resistance, is generated, and electrons will not move very easily from one end to the another end, okay. So this is the story, nearly true for every kind of material, but there are some remarkable materials, or there are some materials which has remarkable property, that as we decrease the temperature, the resistivity initially decreases, but at one particular temperature, which is denoted by Tc, at one particular temperature which is denoted by Tc, which is very close to absolute zero, the resistance of such a material, becomes zero, it completely vanishes, okay. The resistance of such a material becomes zero. Such a materials are called as superconductors. So what would be the definition of superconductors? Superconductors are materials for which at one particular temperature, which is called as a critical temperature or transition temperature, which is denoted by Tc, the resistance of that particular material would be 0, and if the resistance becomes 0, that particular material will be called as a superconductors, okay. That particular material will be called as a superconductor. What we can say, that material is transformed from conducting state to the superconducting state. The material is transformed from conducting state to the superconducting state. Now this particular invention of superconductors was done by scientist H.K. Owens, okay, in 1911. In 1911, what they did, actually, they took the mercury sample, they took the sample of mercury, okay, they took the sample of mercury, and they decreased the temperature, they decrease the temperature, and they found that at temperature T equal to Tc is equal to 4.2 Kelvin. At temperature T equal to Tc is equal to 4.2 Kelvin, which is called as the transition temperature of this particular mercury, superconducting mercury. At this particular temperature, they found that resistance became zero. So in that case, the mercury was acting as a superconductor. Okay. Now, how to achieve this 4.2 Kelvin actually? Superconducting is very costly affair. Okay, because in order to obtain the superconductors, we need to identify the material first, which can show the superconducting behavior. Remember that not all metals show superconducting property. Even if all the metals are very good conductor of electricity, for example gold, silver, copper, aluminum, etc., these are all metals and they are very good conductors of electricity at normal temperatures. But if you bring down the temperature of all these materials to nearly absolute zero, you will find that all these materials do not act as a superconductors because of this particular formula. Rho is equal to rho 0 plus rho of T. Even if you bring down the temperature to very low value, the resistance would decrease, but it cannot become zero because there is a residual resistivity of that particular material. Because of the imperfection, that material will offer some intrinsic resistance to that flow of electrons, and therefore the resistivity cannot become zero. So normally you will be very surprised to know that normally metals do not show the property of superconductivity. Okay, there are some other kind of materials, mixed composites. Okay, there are some ceramic materials which are normally insulators at room temperature. Okay, but if you decrease the temperature, you may find that some of these materials act as a superconductor. Okay, and also remember that not all materials can show the property of superconductivity. Okay, we require some combination. Okay, then only that particular material can behave as a superconductor. Okay, so we were discussing about mercury. Okay, mercury can act as a superconductor at temperature 4.2 Kelvin. And how to obtain this 4.2 Kelvin temperature actually? So in order to obtain that particular temperature, we have to liquefy helium. So liquid helium has this particular temperature, 4.2 Kelvin. Liquid helium has this particular temperature, right? So in order to achieve this particular temperature, we require huge amount of cost. We have to pour lot of money to acquire this particular temperature. Therefore, superconductivity business is not that much popular. Okay, it is not that much popular because we need huge amount of money. But nowadays, people have found out new kind of materials for which this transition temperature or the critical temperature is about 200 Kelvin. So okay, since the temperature is much higher, still it is very below to the room temperature. 200 Kelvin means what? Minus 123 degree Celsius. So in order to obtain this much temperature also we require a lot of money, but still it is affordable business. Okay, it is kind of affordable business. So the materials which show superconductivity at very low temperature, such a materials are called as a normal superconductors. But some materials are there which show superconductivity at some higher temperature. Such a materials are called as high temperature superconductors. Okay, or high TC superconductors. Okay, so these are the phenomena which are related with the superconductors. Okay, and graphically, if you want to denote this, how the superconductivity is achieved. So suppose that this is the axis on which we are showing the temperature, and in this axis we are showing the resistance R ohm and temperature Kelvin. So you will find that from higher temperature, if the temperature is quite high, then it will be having some kind of resistance. Now if you decrease the temperature, the resistance goes on decreasing. But suppose this is a 4.2 Kelvin. Suppose this is 4.2 Kelvin. So as you reach this particular value, the resistance suddenly drops to 0. Remember that resistance actually is dropping towards 0. Okay, it is not becoming nearly 0. Okay, it is actually 0. So if a particular material is having resistance 0, what is the advantage? Suppose that you are having a coil. You are having a coil of superconductor. You are having one coil of superconductor and its resistance is 0. I am saying that its resistance is 0. What is the meaning of that? So if I send small amount of current, if I am sending small amount of current within this particular material whose resistance is exactly 0, what will happen? This current can flow within this material to a infinitely long time. To a infinitely long time means this current will ideally flow forever because its resistance is 0. Nothing is there to oppose this particular current. So once I have sent this current, it will continuously flow within this circuit for a long time or for an infinite time. Okay. So this is the advantage of superconductors. Okay, and what are the other advantages of superconductor, that we will see later on also. Okay, so this is the diagrammatic representation. Now remember that suppose we are having a coil of superconductor, and just now we have said that once I have sent small amount of current, this current will try to build up within this circuit indefinitely. Okay, but remember that this is a closed loop. Once I am sending the current, there will be the creation of magnetic field. Once I am saying the current, there will be the creation of magnetic field. So any superconductor, in any superconductor, whenever we send some kind of current, there will be the creation of magnetic field also. There will be the creation of magnetic field also. But remember that all superconductors cannot handle any amount of magnetic field. Okay, you see, once I have said that this is a superconductor, so this material will act as a superconductor for how much temperature? If the temperature is less than Tc. If the temperature is less than Tc, then only this particular material will act as a this particular material will act as a superconductor. Similarly, if this material is acting as a superconductor and if I am sending some kind of current, there will be the creation of magnetic field, and if I send large amount of current, the magnetic field which is created by that superconductor will also be very, very large. But the superconductor cannot handle any amount of magnetic field. There will be some critical magnetic field only. There will be some critical magnetic field only which is handled by the superconductor. So you see, there are two criteria. If a material has to behave as a superconductor, then the temperature must be less than transition temperature. Temperature must be less than transition temperature or the critical temperature. Similarly, the magnetic field created by that particular superconductor must be less than critical magnetic field. Must be less than the critical magnetic field. There is a relation between this critical magnetic field and the critical temperature. Okay, so Hc is the critical magnetic field. It is equal to H0 1 minus T divided by Tc whole square. Okay, where Hc is the critical magnetic field at temperature T. Hc is the maximum value of critical magnetic field at temperature T. H0 is the value of critical magnetic field at absolute zero temperature. H0 is the value of critical magnetic field at absolute zero temperature, and Tc is the transition temperature or the critical temperature. Right? So this is the formula with which we can understand the relationship between critical magnetic field and the transition temperature. Now we shall see another effect which is very closely related with the superconductor, and the name of this effect is Meissner effect. Meissner effect. Okay, now what is meant by Meissner effect? So in order to understand that, what we have understood up till now, that if there is a conductor, suppose there is a conductor, it will have some resistance, okay, and it will oppose the flow of electrical current. Okay, and suppose there is a superconductor. there is a superconductor. So what it will have? It will have resistance of that material would be exactly 0. Okay, resistance of the material would be exactly 0, and for this case T will be less than Tc. The temperature would be less than critical temperature or the transition temperature. Now if I apply magnetic field, to this conductor, what will happen? Conductors are nothing but the metals. Okay, so if you apply magnetic field to the conductors, normally these magnetic lines of forces or magnetic field lines will penetrate through the conductor. It will penetrate through the conductor. It means that this particular conducting material will allow magnetic lines to pass through it. It will assist the magnetic lines of forces or magnetic field lines. But if you have a superconductors for which resistance is exactly equal to 0 and temperature has become less than the critical temperature, and if you apply the magnetic field to this particular superconductor, then what will happen? This material of superconductor will not allow magnetic field to pass through, Okay, so the magnetic field lines will be like this, Okay, you can imagine that, suppose that this is a conductor. Okay, this is a conductor for which T is greater than Tc. So what will happen? This will behave normally as a conductor. Okay, this material will behave normally as a conductor because temperature is greater than critical temperature. Okay, and if you apply the magnetic field, it will pass through the material. Okay, but now if I am decreasing the temperature, and I have achieved a superconducting state for which the temperature has become less than Tc, then you will see that initially if the magnetic field lines are passing through the material, they will be swept away out of this particular material. So what we can say, in the case of superconductor, magnetic field inside the superconductor is 0. Is exactly 0. Okay, now if the magnetic field inside the superconductor is 0, there is one formula. Okay, B is equal to mu 0 H plus M. This is the formula relating to magnetic induction, magnetic field strength and the magnetization. Okay, how this formula has come, you will understand in the unit of magnetic properties of the materials. Okay, now for this superconductor, this B is equal to 0. Okay, if B is equal to 0, it means that if I bring this mu 0 into the left hand side, this will again be 0. It means that H plus M is equal to 0. Okay, so H is equal to minus M, or M by H is equal to minus 1. What is M? M is the magnetization. Whenever we apply some magnetic field to the material will respond to that particular magnetic field. It will create its own magnetic field because of the applied magnetic field. So that created magnetic field is denoted by the magnetization vector M, and H is the applied magnetic field strength, that is H. Okay, now the ratio of these two is equal to minus 1. The ratio of these two is also called as, or is also denoted by a letter chi. It is denoted by the letter chi, which is called as a magnetic susceptibility. And if the magnetic susceptibility of any material is equal to minus 1, such a materials are called as diamagnetic materials. So if you don't know what is meant by diamagnetic, paramagnetic, ferromagnetic, so that can also be understood in the unit of magnetic properties of materials. Okay, so for now let us focus on this. If chi is equal to minus 1, such a materials are called as a diamagnetic, right? So what we have to remember, that for superconducting materials, this chi is equal to minus 1. Or superconducting materials are diamagnetic materials. So this effect of having, or this effect of excluding magnetic field inside the superconducting state is called as a Meissner effect. Okay, So I think this will be sufficient for this particular lecture. Next topic we will see in the